Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here and for letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for, I'm calling this like the broken hearts. I'm going to do one kind of broken hearts reading a week. And this one is, targeted to anyone who is, whose heart hurts for whatever reason. And the title of this is basically, are they moving on? Have they moved on? And are they moving on? And maybe should you move on? But we're going to target them and see if they've moved on. So thank you so much. We have 4 cards here. I know it's a pretty dark theme, but pick the prettiest of the darkest. Epidote, black tourmaline, black kyanite, not cyanite, and shungite. So I'm going to zoom in, and they really are pretty. Just whatever jumps out at you, that's your reading. And the timestamps are below. So I look forward to reading for you, and thank you very much. Goodbye. In Bone Tarot, thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading targeting the broken hearts, the brokenhearted. I've been here before, so I'm sure everyone has. And this is a reading for, are they moving on? So you picked Epidote, and it's kind of dark and shiny, and I'm sure it's pretty. And this is your reading, so we are going to get right into it. I'm going to find out a little bit about this person that you're here inquiring about. We're going to take these 2 cards, and I was just going to ask, who are they? Tell me a little bit about them. Actually, I think they're pretty... I'm not loving them off this top line. And I'm not loving them because they remind me of someone who actually could and maybe does abuse power. I think they have a lot of tools in their tool bag, and this card backs it up with slyness. I usually like this card, this 7 of Swords. However, in this context, it makes me think like it's just one more resource they have and use that actually I don't think it serves other people very well. This reminds me of someone, to have 2 Father of Pentacles, or to have 2 Father cards here. We have the Father of Pentacles and the Father of Wands. These are powerful energies to have, and to have them for 2 separate suits with a card of slyness, swords, a whole different suit. So we have everything on the table right now except emotions, which this tells me I wouldn't say they entirely lack emotion, but maybe in an outwardly kind, loving kind of way, they might lack emotion. I think they probably have a temper. I think they're probably controlling. I think they like being in a position of control. I don't get the warm fuzzies from this person at all. In fact, I don't necessarily get a whole lot of kindness off this person. I think they might treat the things that they love, or love in that moment at least, kindly. I think this is someone who can absolutely put you on a pedestal or make you think you're, their top priority. But I do think someone like this would be very quick to drop whomever doesn't serve them. And I could see this person doing this with like everything from pets to family members to even like picking a favorite child or being totally involved in like their kid's life one year and maybe not the next. Or this just seems like someone who has their own interests in mind all the time. And I'm going to say I don't get a great vibe off this person. So if you're here and already you're thinking like, yeah, this is definitely making sense for who this person is. The question, have they moved on? I'm going to say yeah, because I don't know that they were ever that consumed with you in the first place. This isn't someone who genuinely gives themselves over, in my head, to other people. And, if I just saw one of these Father's cards, I would read this differently, because then there'd be another card here to offset it. But in this manner, with this kind of slyness, this self-serving, this trickery almost, I don't see this person ever having been as, I don't want to say into you, because they could have been completely into you, but that's different. That's not like that's not a long-standing situation. That's temporary. That's like something that feels good for them. That's a it's a different kind of energy. But to say, are they moving on? I do think they are moving on. And this could change. I've started readings in a heavier way and gotten different aspects. But yeah, okay, I'm going to get 2 more cards on this person. Well, so the Mother of Pentacles, and then we've got the 8 of Pentacles. What do I get from this person? I get that it's like this is someone, I feel like this is someone you cannot win an argument with. And I don't necessarily get that this person's impatient, because this is actually a card of patience. This is a card of like almost doing exactly what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether that's waiting, whether that's actually putting action into something. This is a very almost like calm, cool, and collected card. But there's this, with the spider, I don't usually read this as like a spider who's looking to attack, but this could be like this person they build a web, and I feel like this person has collected victims. I'm going to say that. And the Mother of Pentacles cards makes me think that they do show a side of themselves that isn't always sincere. I do think they know how to turn on the charm. I think they know how to be very sweet, very loving. I think they know how to make you think that they are just wanting to start this life with you, when in fact, this is what they do. And I'm sorry, because this isn't exactly the direction I saw this reading going, but I wanted to know about your person before we find out if they're moving on. And I'm going to say that if they want to move on, or if this person doesn't want to be in a situation, or if it doesn't aid them in any way to be in a current anything, job, place, friendship, relationship, anything, then they're not going to. And if you are giving this person a lot of pushback, I don't actually see this as being someone who enjoys the pushback, who thrives on it, who turns it into a challenge, who wants more. I think they're just like, well, that's too much work, so I'm going to check out. That's how I see this person. Maybe they're very charming. Maybe they can get whatever they want. Maybe. And I do think there's an element of that, because they know how to play their cards. They know how to turn up this other facet of their appeal to, I think, win people over, to make them think that they're being almost like cared for and loved in a way that isn't sincere to who this person really is. So it's sorry to come out so quickly with this kind of energy. But yeah, this is, so far going into it, this isn't someone who moves on because they were never all in the first place. And as far as moving on is concerned, I don't think this person sticks to any situation once it gets difficult. They have too much, or they think they have too much going on. They think they have too much to offer to really be in any situation that isn't going to get them instant results. That's what I see from this person. And I do think that if this is who they are, I don't think they showed you this side of them. This is something you're learning. This is an inkling you have. And you probably can look back and see that they maybe had a certain side to them that was softer, sweeter, more appealing, more caring, more loving, and maybe it wasn't exactly who they are. That said, I don't want, let's look into this a little bit more, because that's a heavy first bit of information. I'm going to take 2 oracle cards, and then I'm going to fill it in. And I want to know about like the dynamic you guys had. So it's going to help me understand a little bit more if they're moving on. So what do you guys have? Correct your mistakes and nurture yourself first. So as far as your guys' dynamic, to see correct your mistakes, I do think this is a critical person. I think this is someone that is hard to please. And you may have liked that. Like, you may have liked that challenge that, maybe they pushed you. I mean, sometimes these kind of relationships can actually be good for us in certain ways. I think they have an expiration date, or the person has to really change, which is possible. We may find out that this person is in the process of change. But I do think that someone like this is intense. I think they have this almost like agenda that they need to see their partner like fulfill throughout the course of their relationship. So when I see this correct your mistakes, I do think that they put a lot on you and maybe even pushed you in an uncomfortable way beyond your say your comfort level or zone to I don't know, change aspects of yourself, whether it's like physically, mentally, things you're comfortable with. But they weren't actually mistakes. They were this person's idea of a mistake. And nurture yourself first. You might have felt the need in this relationship to love yourself a little bit more. And I actually think you are quite strong. This is because when I see this nurture yourself first, I get the impression that when you were in this relationship, you kind of always saw the writing on the wall. I don't know that you ever really got fully taken for a ride. I mean, and if you did, it was short-lived. I think you came pretty quickly to see what this person's all about. Maybe they just became very transparent to you after a certain amount of time, and you almost knew what you were in for. And if you did correct certain mistakes being what they wanted you to work on, it could have either been something that actually you were trying to work on, like maybe they did pull a fact. Maybe you weren't eating healthy. Maybe you were drinking too much. Maybe you were hanging out with the wrong, I don't know, group of kids. Those are just such cliche examples, but let's say this person actually did see something that if you changed it, it would benefit you. I think there could have been an example of that, but you knew still all the while that you changing this about yourself was for yourself. It wasn't for this person. You agreed with them, and so you worked towards doing certain things, but it wasn't necessarily for them. I don't think you really lost yourself in this relationship. And even as you're here with this, quote unquote broken heart, I don't think your broken heart is because you were so madly in love. I think this was just such a different dynamic than what you've been accustomed to, it's almost like you want parts of this in your next relationship. Like, that although this wasn't the perfect relationship, there were things about it you really did like. And I think you miss those parts. And you probably hope if you could create the perfect next relationship that there'd be parts of this that you would take with you. As far as this person and are they moving on? Yes, I think they are on to whatever else is giving them attention. And it doesn't have to be a person. I'm not saying this person's like a prolific cheater that, was never faithful. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I just think they're a very intense kind of me person. It's their show. And whatever their flaws are, they could be great and horrible, or they could be minor. But either way, this is it's just like a beast. This person has a lot to deal with. And I think they are a complete drain, physically and mentally. And the fact that you're even spinning, probably thinking if they've moved on, again, it's almost not even the right question. The question is I don't even know what the question is, but let's get a little bit more about what your guys' dynamic was like. Because we might see some. Actually, I do think we're going to see some good things about your time together, because I think this person pushed you in a way. I really get the feeling that, and I'm already softening to this person, and this happens. I came out on the top line with them thinking they were almost all bad and I didn't like them. And it's true. They have some quirks. They are intense. I do think they're sneaky. That does not change. We're all a little bit sneaky. And I do think that this person is good at, I think they're slightly manipulative. Sure. I don't know that they're necessarily this toxic demon. That's not really the vibe I'm getting. I just think that if you're going to make a relationship work with someone like this, that you have to really completely know what you're in for, and you have to be very strong and not lose yourself. Because I think this energy of kind of always changing you to be this person that they want you to be, or this perfect partner or this ideal, I think that's going to be a very consistent thread that plays out throughout your time together. So this would be a relationship that would require you to be very strong, very independent, and put yourself first, because if you don't, they will take over. I mean, they will absolutely take over. It is their show after all. But again, that might be what you like. That might be what you find so appealing, and some people really do. So yeah, I could never judge that. And I mean, I get it, but okay, let's see what your dynamic was like. I do see some sweetness here. And this is, we've got the Mother of Pentacles, we have the Daughter of Pentacles. So although they did pretend in some ways to show you this over the top energy of being, I just use the words loving, protective, nurturing, kind of like domesticated. It wasn't all fake, okay? There were very sweet and like tender moments between you guys, which I actually do think were sincere. So I do want you to know that it wasn't that everything was a total farce. It's just that this is such a strong personality type that it's very hard to like discern what was actually their like genuine, sincere action and what was just this kind of master plan that they always sort of operate under in anything they're doing, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's, they always have kind of this agenda. And I don't think that will ever change. I think whatever relationship they're in will always adhere to this certain kind of agenda that they, like I said, they're ideal for that. But I do think that your guys' relationship was, I do think you felt probably pretty protected when you guys were together. I do think you felt safe. You felt grounded. You might have really thought at a time that it was kind of going somewhere, or that there was a security to it, that maybe you really trusted this person. And maybe, again, I'm not saying that they did bad things. I'm not at all even saying that they cheated. There's nothing here to make me think that this person is toxic. So being problematic and being certain things that aren't ideal doesn't make them toxic. So I do think that despite all the energy that this relationship took from you, you still probably felt pretty safe with this person. And I get the feeling that they opened up to you a little bit more than they have anyone, let's say. And the reason I say that is because we do have this, like the Daughter of Pentacles and the Mother of Pentacles, the Mother of Wands, the Father of Wands. These cards come up like almost underneath each other, and it's not, and then we have the Pentacles card under here. It's not an accident. I'm here doing this because I believe Spirit has a hand on these cards. I believe we ask these questions, and whoever is watching this reading is going to interpret it differently than everyone. Everyone watching this reading, it will interpret it differently. But it's still your reading, even though 100 people could watch it, or I don't know, millions one day, right? There are tarot readers who have millions of people watching their videos. So I'm just speaking generally, but everyone's brain is going to interpret the message differently. So this really is like your message. And I get feelings as I go along. And I do see now that there's just an element of safety. And I don't know that you have, I'm not going to say you have issues, but maybe you have certain insecurities. Maybe you have a hard time trusting men, or like a certain like male dominant energy. Maybe you've been like mistreated before, and this person actually was one of the first to make you feel like good and secure and safe, because I can see actually that you felt safe around them, which is a very nice thing. And I see that they almost like they took you in, they cared for you. I'm not going to say almost like a child, but even with the correct your mistakes, I think they really thought they were helping you. These were things that not only did they want, but they also wanted it for you. So again, it could be something as simple as like eating better, or maybe it was like losing a little bit of weight in the name of just being healthier. Like, who knows? There are so many examples. But I think it really came from a good place, because I get these, there's a very caring element here. And I will say that I don't think your partner or your ex-partner is used to caring for people in quite the way they cared for you. Now they may have a kid or kids, and I'm sure they love their kids. Everyone's, loves their kids. I don't know that they're the world's best parent. I'm not necessarily getting that energy. I think they can kind of have highs or lows with their kids, sometimes be very attentive, sometimes not so much, because that's just them. But I think they gave more of themselves to you than they've given anyone in a long time. And you felt that. It made you feel safe. It made you feel like you were home. So I have a different feeling than I felt when I came out doing this reading. I get why you're here. I get why you've fallen for this person. They could be quite a bit older than you. They could be like this more powerful, more established, more financially secure type. And even if they aren't just, filthy rich, they definitely have this power and this self-control and this kind of dynamicism about them that would make you feel like you're just safe. Whatever happens with them, they're fine and you're safe. So let me ask Spirit more directly if they've moved on or where they are now. So I'm going to ask if they've moved on, and then I'm going to get a picture of where they are now. So like whether or not they've moved on, we've got Imagine Solutions. So this isn't a card to say they've moved on, and I couldn't say what direction this card would take us. But what I get with this card is that they are, I think they're thinking more consciously, to be honest, than they have in a very long time, which, interestingly enough, could tell me not that they haven't moved on, but they're a little more stuck contemplating things. This is a card of being stuck. This is a card of being almost like, in this regard, I see this as being like locked in, like there's not really movement here. This is a card of like inaction. You're kind of stuck. You're like almost in quicksand trying to figure out what to do next. And with Imagine Solutions, let's say that they are thinking to themselves, what can I do differently? Can I change? Do I want to be the person that I would have to be with this person? In other words, like they probably know that a relationship with you would look like XYZ, and they would probably have to change and modify their behaviors and work a little bit harder to make you happier and be softer and more gentle, or more nurturing. But I actually think they're thinking about this. So for as much as I can say that this person hasn't, there's a little bit here to back up the fact that they're a little stuck on you. I'm going to say that. So for relatively speaking, I don't think they've moved on. I think they're thinking about you. I really do. And this is why you have to see these kinds of readings through, because I get this energy from them, and it kind of like repels me a little bit. It makes me think like, whew, this is a lot. Of course this person isn't, of course they've moved on because that's just what they do. But the more I see them, I do think they're thinking about things differently. So yes, I think they miss you. I think they are even going so far as to think, what if I changed? Not everything. They'll never change everything, and it will always be their show. However, I think they're thinking of ways they can better themselves and be a better partner. So I'm going to throw that out there. I'm going to get a couple more cards about just whether or not if they're moving on. So, I mean, Daughter of Cups is a beautiful card that you want to see. And again, this is basically choices. So I like this, okay? This is tough decisions. This is them sincerely analyzing and thinking, what do I do? And not only what do I do, like not only what action do I take, but how do I feel about this? Like, this is them in deep thought. This is them contemplating something. And this is a very big deal. And the Daughter of Cups is such a lovely little like card of, I don't know. To me, it's love, it's sincerity. It's what leads to this very sweet, like quintessential romance. There's just a very sincere interest in like getting to know you, but almost in this gentle, different way. Whereas I think when you got to know them before, I don't even think you ever got to know them. I think they just full on showed you who they were and you decided you were into it, and then that was your relationship. If you did get back together with this person, I think it would look a little differently. And the Daughter of Cups tells me that, and it tells me they're thinking about this. They're really thinking. So I'm going to do 2 more cards, but yeah, to the question of have they moved on, right now, no, I don't think they've moved on. I don't think you're like miles behind them right now as far as like I don't think they've shut you out of their head. You're in their head. And so these are great cards, okay? I'm going to say, just to take it one step further, to say, actually, I don't think they've moved on. I think they're mourning the loss of you, okay? And that is a very intense way to say this, because I don't know enough about any of the people you guys are thinking about to know if there's someone that would even, let's just say they're aware you're not there, okay? And it makes them feel sad. It makes them feel icky. They are very much aware that you are not with them anymore. And I don't think, it doesn't make them happy. And this is like the romance card. This is the love card. This is the intimacy love card. If this card comes up and I ask, have they moved on? I'm going to get a hard no from this. They have not moved on. They're missing you. They're missing you. And you probably ask yourself, how do I start here and end up here? It's just the progression of the cards. I do want to say this person, to me, is slightly problematic and does need to do some work on themselves. So take this with a grain of salt, because they have work to do. They have to calm down. They have to be nicer, be sweeter, be more sincere. They have to stop using they're overpowering, and they know they can do that. They have to stop that. But if you want to know if they've moved on, the answer is no. I don't think they've moved on. So that's your reading. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all those things, so I can keep doing these readings, or so I can at least be encouraged to keep doing these readings, because this is a special one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts. I really enjoyed this, and I hope it was well received. So thank you so much. Goodbye. This is Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading for, have they moved on? Are they moving on? And I loved the last reading, so I'm even more excited to do this one. I will just say quickly, once a week, I'm going to do like broken hearts readings. So this is a reading geared towards if your heart's broken, if you're trying to move on, if you're sad, if you want to get back together with someone. So I'm just going to assume you are like in this transition phase and your heart's broken. And are they moving on? Let's get right into it. So it worked well to do this on the last one, so I'm going to stick with it. I want to know about your person. I just want to see them clearly. I want to just get a feel for them. So who are they? Great. Okay. So the Fool, I love the Fool. There's something sweet. There's something soft. There's an innocence there. To me, the Fool is not, their biggest flaw in life is being either selfish or careless or not even thoughtless, but not in a way that they want to hurt anyone. I think they don't want to hurt anyone. They don't want to ruffle feathers. They just want to enjoy life. They're just this enthusiastic little bundle of newness. So I love the Fool. Do I want to date the Fool? Not necessarily. Not if that is their defining card. But a little aspect of the Fool in someone is nice. However, I do feel like this person could be selfish. Then I get this Eight of Swords, and I all of a sudden kind of see this person as being ever so slightly cowardly. Or immature, or not really someone who steps up and takes control. And then the Five of Wands here is this. It's this card of conflict, and I'll be honest, I get this little bitch energy off this person. They do remind me of someone who doesn't step up to the plate, doesn't really take responsibility for their actions, doesn't really apologize sincerely, or they'll over apologize and it means nothing. I'm not getting a very manly vibe off this person, or that like strong masculine energy where you'd expect someone to like take charge, be responsible, be honest, be all those great traits of this like yang masculine energy. This person doesn't have it, whether they're a man or a woman. They're just kind of like a little bit of a weakling. And I do, when I said that like the little bitch energy to me, I wouldn't just get it off of any one of these cards, but this combo and then this 5 of Wands, this is like, I think they push buttons. I think they're poking the bear. I think they like getting a rise out of you. I think they're annoying and irritating at times. However, you're here asking if they're moving on because you probably really like them. You probably know this about them, and we're going to turn over cards to show how great they are. And that's completely possible. But I do think that at some part of them like resonates at this level, and you probably know this, or you've suspected it, or you've felt it. So this is the energy I'm getting off them. I asked to know about them, and this is what I'm getting. So at best, we will call them immature, underdeveloped, juvenile. I could go on. But I don't hate them. That's the thing. I don't hate them. I definitely do not want to date them ever, ever, ever. And as far as have they moved on, honestly, if these were the only cards we turned over, I'd say let this person move on. Let whoever they go on to date is going to have to show them so many years of maturity, or they have years of maturing to do. Anyway, let's get, I'm going to get 2 more cards about them, and let's see if I can get impressed somehow. And okay, so the Emperor and the 10 of Swords, it's almost like I feel like they're actually stunted in a way. This immaturity, this almost like inability, dig your heels in, refuse to grow up kind of thing they have. Maybe it has something to do with how they were brought up. Maybe it has to do with their dad. Maybe there's some like greater influence that is kind of like fucked with them a little bit. Because I do think they've been through something. I think they've got some pain. I think they're trying to either like maybe suppress something or deal with, this is their way of dealing with something that really affected them. Some ending, some defeat, I could throw those kind of words out, but let's say that and the thing is, this could be something we've all dealt with, only it really got to them. Or maybe it's something major. I don't know. That doesn't even matter. But whatever it is that they have a hard time with, whether you see it as big or small or legitimate or whatever, it affects them and they're almost stuck. And this Emperor energy, it's funny because I get that like they have a dad, like they have an issue with their dad, whatever that is. Maybe their dad's a total jerk. Maybe he's controlling. Maybe he was a horrible person. So I could kind of get this like their dad basically messed them up. But let's say that's not the case. Then what I do get is that they want to be this like, it's like they want to be in control. Like they want to be smarter than they are. They want to be in more control than they actually could ever handle. They want, it's like, it reminds me of the trust fund kid that is actually quite smart if they put their mind to it. They went to a great school. They even get put in this like fancy internship, but yet they're just this little worm. They can't, oh my God, I'm totally thinking of from Mad Men. Oh, I don't know, Carl. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But like, I think he started as an intern and he was just such a nightmare. But that's how I see this person. It doesn't mean they'll always be this way. It doesn't mean they aren't actually quite capable and smart and they might, I don't know, take over the family business. They might be the most successful person you've ever met. Right now, they are dealing with some of their own issues. And I do think they're trapped. I think mentally they're just they're almost tormented, and it comes out in this like little nitpicky, aggressive kind of way, but they do have like a latent sadness to them, and they want more for themselves. I really do think that, but it's hard for them to get this right now. I have no idea if this person's moved on. Let's get to that point, because I almost totally forgot why we're here. I got so carried away trying to figure out who your person is. Okay, but let's see if they've moved on. I'm going to get 2 oracle cards and fill it in. I want to know where they are right now. Are they moving on? Okay, let's get that. This came up last time, even though I shuffled the hell out of these cards. Oh my God, so did this one. You know what? That's so weird. I did shuffle these for like 5 minutes. Okay, so have they moved on? Correct your mistakes, strengthen your gifts. I'm trying to think how this actually pertains to this person. They might be working on themselves, which would tell me either one of two things. They've moved on in the sense that they know they have work to do and they're going to put all their energy into themselves right now, or they are doing this for you. It's one of those two things. And I will say, when I just said they're doing this work for you, it made me see them in a way that's actually very sweet. I saw them differently in that second. I actually saw them as being someone who could be a prize, who could be amazing, but they're just like a lost little puppy dog. And they really are. They are just, they're like a puppy. They need training, they need love, they need growth, guidance, whatever. Everything a little puppy needs. That's kind of how I see them now. And it's like the puppy's going to grow up and be a dog, just like they do have this. Maybe they really will be the emperor one day and you'll be their empress, or someone will for that matter. But they do have potential, and I think they're probably sweet and well-intentioned. I'm getting a softer vibe off of them to tell me, I just see them as a puppy dog. And I have a feeling this is someone you probably adored right from the beginning, but they probably grew on you. You probably became almost like maybe even lightweight obsessed with this person over the course of, I don't know, months or weeks or whatever. And it snuck up on you. I think they just pulled you in and you became so kind of consumed with how sweet and adorable. They might be incredibly good looking. They might have these, I don't know, just amazing traits. They might be very passionate, all these things you wouldn't expect from something so like nubile, and yet they're still kind of childlike. So that's the vibe I'm getting. But I do see they're working on themselves. I do see that actually the most mature thing they've done in a long time, I think, has probably come about post breakup for you guys. And I just see that they're working on themselves. So yeah, I get that with the correct your mistakes, and with the strengthen your gifts, they do have good qualities. They aren't bad. They're not a bad person. And I do think they're really trying to work on what is good and make something of it. So let's get a little bit more about where they're at. I won't forget that came in upside down, but I'm not. Okay. So this is this is a very heavy bit here. This is in total contrast to this, right? Here we have a line saying that this could tell me they are completely turning their world upside down. Let's say your breakup had a huge impact on their life. I could almost see it as something like when you guys broke up, or I almost feel like there was either an epic fight or a situation or a letter or something that you gave them, words you said to them, whether in writing, in text, and yelled it, whatever. You gave them a message that hit home. It was like a gut punch. They, I think, became so terrified of what you said to them maybe being true. I actually think they're doing a lot of changing. And I bet on this next line, we'll see that they're probably going to go into this like maybe almost hermit / spiritual kind of quest thing. But I do think that you affected them, you got to them, and they needed this. This person really needed this because they couldn't stay the fool forever. They can't just, I don't think they even picked like real issues to even discuss. I think they were just living in this like alternate kind of universe where nothing really mattered and they just didn't take anything seriously. And I actually think you've shown them like, look, this is your life. You've got to start taking command of it. You really have to figure out what you want, and just grow up. And I really, really think they're doing this. And so you could take this as they haven't really moved on because they've taken your words, they've heeded your advice, they're working on themselves. They would be doing this almost to really, but the thing is, and this is it, I get it, the message that they are really doing this for themselves. They probably love and respect you so much for being so honest and showing them what they have to do, what's needed. I do think they are, a part of them is doing this for you. And I think they would probably love for you to see what they're working on and like, the like accomplishments, what they've accomplished, because I think as a result of this, they've cut things out of their life. Maybe it was funds from their family. Maybe it was a job that was like beneath them and that they were qualified for so much more. They could be making more money. And I think they've kind of cleaned up their act in other ways too. Maybe they're partying less. Maybe they're taking things more seriously. Maybe they're actually really looking at things from like a cause and effect, almost like karmic way. Like if I, don't care about anyone ever, then no one's ever really going to care about me. Or if I'm always so self-centered and kind of selfish and needy, then those are the kind of people I'm going to attract. I just think they're really looking at things very, very differently. And I also think that your guys' breakup, it did leave them with a sense of sadness and defeat. I do think it really, really hit home for them. I think there's an interesting thing happening here. And this card up here, I might not have addressed it quite properly, but this is also a card of anxiety and anxiousness, but in a more heavy, sad kind of way, not just like a nervous energy, but like an anxiety. And again, it could be a woe is me energy, but that's another thing that I think they play a victim a lot. But I think that they're ready to stop doing this. So for whatever reason you broke up, I can see that this person is taking very strong measures to change the things about them that you called out, or that you've been calling out, that you've been addressing throughout the time you were together, or whatever your relationship was, whatever that dynamic was. I'm sure you almost like schooled them like a puppy, like you molded them, you helped them, but they would have to listen to your advice, and they didn't. And now I think they really, really are. I can't get a message as far as like a time frame or how this is going to play out right now. I'm going to do another line here, but I would say they haven't moved on because I think they're working towards the things you said you wanted out of them. I just, let's see if we see, I'm going to see what their future looks like. So what does it look like for them? Like, and them and you. So we'll get them and you guys together, but we'll just get one card to sum up. What are things looking like? Engage higher reason. So I do think that in this self, correction, they're working on themselves, right? The self-work. Either they're seeing, let's say maybe they're seeing a counselor or, like a therapist, or they're reading the right books, they're talking to the right people. But I do think they are taking real steps to kind of just heal themselves and to grow. I feel like they kind of were stunted for quite a few years. Maybe they didn't mature, they didn't grow for, say, like 5 years. Like maybe they've been in the same kind of foolish state for way too long, and they know that like they kind of need help. They need someone to push them for real, and it can't be their girlfriend or boyfriend. It can't be someone that they're really close to. It almost has to be this like third party to come in. And I do think that this is kind of like that higher reasoning that they're going to take in and invite. And let's see what's for you guys, for them and then you guys. So let's see what they're doing right now. Okay. So they're thinking a lot. They really are thinking. I'm going to say this person is putting in so much work on themselves. And I would think this would make you happy, because I really do get the impression that although they're moving forward in so many ways, I don't necessarily think they're moving away from you. They are just moving on with their life. They are definitely moving forward. And if you really wanted to be with this person, I would absolutely think that they would love to show you all the things they're working on. I just get that vibe. But yeah, they're something you said to them, you had such an impact on them, because I think they really do like love and respect you. And I just think they're just very impacted by you. And they're moving towards like smoother waters. There's a light at the end of their tunnel. There's literally like a rainbow on the horizon for them. And those are that's just looking at this card, but I also know the meaning of this card. And this is leaving, right? This is like, it's almost this like transitional, going from one state that isn't quite great. It's tumultuous, it's hectic, to smoother waters, smoother sailing. And they're hopefully, whatever baggage they had, they're going to leave that behind, and they're going to like adopt these new, just philosophies and ways of life and ways of thought. They're thinking and approaching things very differently. And yeah, I think this is hard for them. I think it's a lot. I think they're working with someone through this, because we have two 5 cards on the table, and the 5s there's a little bit of struggle. There's always like a conflict. The 5s are intense, as are the 10s. And I just think they're going through a lot in a good way, though. It's the change that's needed, but they would probably love to tell you about it. And if you appreciated this growth that they're doing, which I think you would, if you're here asking if they've moved on, then yeah. And let's say this is someone that you really don't want to be with, but you love and care about, and you want to know they're moving on, then yeah, they are moving on. I could see this reading going that way too. If you aren't in love with this person, you just want to know that like you didn't ruin their life when you said or did whatever you said or did. The truth is, no, you helped them. You've already given them like a huge gift. So they're going to be fine. But if you wanted to be with this person or incorporate them back into your life, I actually think you'd have a huge opportunity to do that. So a little bit more about you guys if you wanted that from them. I actually see you guys could be really happy together. I think you guys could be very successful together. I think this person can mature into someone who, I don't know, has a lot to offer and honestly makes you happy. I think I get a message here that you guys could be very, very happy. You could be happy as just friends, but you also could be happy as a couple. And there's stuff to say that this can go, like I could go into depth here and say like how amazing something could be between the two of you guys. But I will just say that either way, whether it's friendship, whether they're without you in a good way, in a way that you want them to be without you and you want them to be happy, whether you remain friends or whether you stay together or you get back together, I definitely see happiness in your guys' dynamic. And for this person, right? So I actually kind of see you guys together. I really do. But whatever it is, I like it. I like that this person is changing so rapidly, and it's happening quickly. This is happening very quickly. This isn't like a 5-year, trajectory to see a little bit of change. I feel like every day they're working on themselves. And I think you would recognize it pretty quickly as well. They're off to good places. They're still dealing with things. They have, like I said, there's a history. There's something that's always been hard on them. But they're working through that and they're addressing it and they're like doing everything they can. Just to be better, to be stronger, to mature, to finally grow up. That's what they're doing. So yeah, if you liked this reading, if it makes sense, please let me know. I mean, I've had my first negative comment and it didn't even bother me because it was what someone honestly felt. So, I mean, even if you have a comment that isn't like totally complimentary, I'm open to it. Just, I'm really dying for the feedback and the interaction and, just whatever you can do. So anyway, thank you so much for being here and please listen to more readings and just come back and interact. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Light and Bone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. We are doing a reading for Are They Moving On? And I'm going to be doing once a week, like my heartbroken specials or whatever, not specials, just like heartbroken readings. So this is for the brokenhearted, which I mean, we've all been there Probably, I definitely have. And yeah, I just relate with these readings. So this is if you're hurting in some way. And right now we are doing this for Are They Moving On? Black Kyanite. She picked this and we are going to get right into it. Two very interesting readings before this. So that always, I just get jazzed when I'm into my pile and oh my gosh, and it goes well. Okay, so I want to know a little bit about this person. It's going to help me get a whole big picture. So let's see a little bit about them. Who are they? Okay, we've got the Fool, which same position of the Fool in the last reading. Very interesting. Father of Cups and Ace of Swords. So I will just try to just say it this once. The Fool came up in the same exact position in the last reading, but already it is a completely different breakdown. Here, the Fool tells me that this is someone like not quite as naive or innocent as they would pretend to be. I almost feel like this person masquerades as the Fool. Which is someone who could be foolish, but it's really someone who's just, so it's almost like this innocent, careless joker of a person. It's someone so fun to be around, someone so probably endearing and charismatic, but just, it's someone without a worry in the world, essentially. All they want is an adventure. All they want is to be pleased. All they want is to find the things that glitter and make them happy. And that's just, that's them. The Fool in like the modern day right now, it could be someone who just spends money and buys beautiful things and that's their joy. Or it could be someone who travels all the time. Or just someone who, it's like if you're in pursuit of the things you love, to me, you're kind of like the Fool. But there's a little bit more to it than that. But in this setting, I see this person, your person, I don't think they're actually that silly. I don't think they're actually foolish. And I don't think they're necessarily that innocent or naive. But I think they kind of play the card of being that person. I think there's almost something like intimidating about them, or like this, like intimidating in the sense that they might seem like they're very nice, and then you realize it's someone you don't actually fuck with. Like, that kind of feeling where you first meet someone and your first impression is like totally wrong. Like your first impression might be like, oh, they're just like, they're clueless. They didn't even hear me talk. And then you realize like, oh no, wait, they caught on to everything I said. They were analyzing me the whole time, and now they are using that against me. Like, I just feel like your person has a kind of almost like a double. Anyway, okay. So I think they're pretty smart. I think they are, they're thinkers. And the Father of Cups, I like this card. I really do like this card. But there's this, almost like this emotional self-control that comes with the Father of Cups, which is it's not silly, right? It's someone who really is very much in control of their emotions, which kind of results to having control over your thoughts as well. And the contrast of seeing the Father of Cups here and the Ace of Swords to me is interesting. There's this this clarity in their thoughts. They know who they are. They're unapologetic. I think they're great conversationalists. I think they're great communicators, but to the point of they can almost probably dominate or control a conversation. They can steer a conversation. They can be, kind of mentally manipulative. And that's why when I say they masquerade as the Fool, I think they like you to sometimes, they like to come off as being a little bit different than they actually are, and if you're here and you want to know if they've moved on, I mean, you've probably fallen for this person. And I get that, because this is like, whenever you see those extremes and dynamics, it can be very sexy and very interesting. So I get how this person could be very appealing. And I really get that, because the Fool is like, you don't want to just date the Fool. That, to me, that's not, it's almost like a puppy dog at times. Right. But, which might be different than how I described it earlier, but that is one way of me also interpreting the Fool. But if you combine that with someone who's actually the total opposite, and then you get that kind of lovely bit of both worlds, it is very, it's like there's a little bit of control there. Like this is someone who can have a little bit of control over you. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more about this person, and we're going to go from there. So 7 of Wands, pardon me, and 10 of Wands. Okay, I do think this person gets their way. I think this person is not afraid to do whatever it takes to get their way. They see something, they want it, they go after it, they get it. They are very much used to getting their way. And I'm not sure I understand the 10 of Swords here, except that they will work hard and stop at nothing. I'm going to say here, I see this as or Wands, pardon me. I see this as someone who they're not just sitting on their couch. This is someone who does things. This is someone who takes action. They're not afraid of hard work. They will put the work in anywhere, like whether it's actually work, whether it's like a landscaping project on their own house, whether it's redoing their website, whatever it is, or a relationship for that matter, or being a parent or whatever. They are definitely, if they're in, they are very much all in. But I don't think they will give time or attention to anything that they don't want to. This is not someone that's going to pretend to like you or care about you or give a shit if they don't. They might pretend to be sweeter than they are, or kinder or more loving at times, but really when it comes down to actually what they want, the time they will put into something, the energy they'll give it, no, it's because they don't have this despair. They're not going to take away from their own interests, their own wants and desires. They just won't put it towards anything if it's not what they want. So now, has this person moved on? Are they moving on? Couldn't say. I feel like I've been wrong almost every time I've anticipated. This person to me does seem selfish, and very much they will go after exactly what they want. So this reminds me of someone that if they haven't moved on, you're going to know about it because they're just going to pursue you. They're not going to sit back and just think about how much they want you. If they actually haven't moved on, you would probably be the first to know. I'm going to put that out there and see if we get anything else. Okay, so let me find out. I want to know, I want to know where they're at right now. Are they moving on? What are they doing? So let's get a couple cards about that. Okay, shine your light. Go with the flow. I'm going to say I do think they've moved on a little bit, or they're not stuck on you. Let's put it that way. I don't think this person is sitting back thinking how they can get back with you. I don't think they're asking the question if you've moved on. I'm just going to throw that out there. Because I see them doing them right now, and not even in a way that I love to see, they've earned it, they need to just do them. No, I think this person always does them, to be honest. I think this person, I actually am going to say I like this person the least out of, sorry, I'm so sorry, out of the 3 readings I've done. It's not saying they're a bad person, but they give off the biggest energy of kind of like of a no fucks, right? They give me this very strong vibe of exactly what they want is what they're going to get. So if they want you, they'll get you. If they don't, they won't. Shine your light. I don't like this for them, but they shine. It's almost like a moth to a flame kind of thing. I think they bring people in. I get the impression that this person does have some charms that they are very quick to use. Yeah, and this go with the flow for them. I think this is almost like a phony energy that I get from the Fool. They probably act like they're so chilled out, they're so easy to be around. They're so just go with the flow, when in fact they're just a ball of anxiety and anxiousness. And I think you've seen this side of both sides. I think you've seen this anxious part of them as well as this like, oh, but I'm so easygoing, like water off my back. And it's like, no, it's just part of this facade. I'm sorry. I don't hate this person by any means. And again, I don't see that they are toxic. I don't see that they are like this horrible cheater, anything like that. I just think they are self-serving, selfish. And I don't know that they ever were that great to you. I don't know that you guys had a great relationship. This feels the most toxic of the reading so far, in that I don't know that they really went out of their way for you at all, ever. And again, if they're moving on, then they've moved on. And if they haven't, then they'll let you know about it. But we'll see if that changes. Let's see a little bit more just about if they're moving on or not. Okay, sorry, not laughing. I'm going to say this person right now, their life seems pretty great. Whether it's actually great or not is something that I'm going to say you'll never know. We'll never know, because they're only going to let you see how great their life is. They're only going to talk to you about how amazing things are, about all the wonderful things that are happening. This reminds me of someone that would post, about the new car they bought, or about like post breakup, to kind of like almost send a message to certain people to make them think, oh, look how unaffected I am. Look how great my life is. That's this person to me. I think they're flashy. I think they're showy. I think they probably are a little insecure, and they will overcompensate with like material possessions. That's what I get off of this line. And yes, I do think that if you were to talk to them, they would want you to think they've moved on. And again, and that's interesting that I just said that, because that's almost like a false message. Whereas I said before, if they hadn't moved on, you would know about it. And now I'm almost getting this like insecure, like they would want you to think they moved on thing. I can't get a complete read on this person. There's this like overconfidence and domineering element that comes off the top line. And this to me just reads of insecurity. So there's this mix of like, just now I see them as like they overcompensate. They're insecure. They're such a try hard. But they're not stupid. I will say that they are definitely, they are thinkers, they're plotters, and they're almost like cunning in a way. They win arguments. They remember little details that you never thought they remembered. They're kind of a nightmare. And I'm not getting good qualities off this person. That's the thing. Like, they aren't the sun. They want you to think they're the sun. They want you to think their life is just bliss and sunshine. And it might look that way. It might genuinely appear that way. They might always seem to be doing things that are truly amazing. However, I don't know that they're that happy. But I don't know. That's actually not really what we're even here to figure out, because I get a very mixed message from this person. Like I said, I get part of this message that they're great, they're strong, they're in control, they're controlling everything. They do exactly what they want. They get what they want. And then I get this, like I said, overcompensation. They have to remain, like, if they weren't smart, their lives would fall apart, because what they're doing, how they're living their life, this curated image they're showing the world, it takes energy, it takes planning, it takes consistency that just your average bonehead can't quite maintain or pull off. And that's this person. So if they haven't moved on, and they haven't let you know about it, then they're too up their own ass to let you know they haven't moved on. And that's something that I don't like about this person. They're almost too insecure to let you know they haven't moved on. And maybe they haven't, because I get the impression they're trying so hard to make you think they have, which would make me think they actually haven't. But then it just begs the question, do you want someone who can't even let you know that they haven't moved on? And you know what? You might, because I've wanted people who I've been in this situation with. It doesn't mean anything bad about them. It just means they're too insecure. They're too, hung up on you or whatever. Or maybe you broke their heart. Actually, maybe you said something that really hurt them. Who knows the dynamic? But for whatever reason, it's almost like they have too much pride to let you know that they haven't moved on. If they haven't, that would be the message I'm getting. I'm not, okay, well, all right, I'm going to ask again, have they moved on? Point blank. Let's find out if they moved on. Embrace your power. And then I took another one, so I'm going to say live life to the fullest for have they moved on. I don't know. This to me, these are funny messages here because it kind of it backs up what I said, but in a way that I actually don't want it to. Like, it almost makes me think this is them saying, like, I am just living my life to the fullest right now. Look how great things are. Look how, like, everything's working out for me. I'm just so strong. So I don't know that I can even tell you what is going on with this person right now, because I think if you were to, I don't know whether you would call them or text them or run into them somewhere, I think they would let you think their life is great. It's almost like you'd have to break this person down to really find out if they've moved on or not. And, I guess I don't know that this reading is going to give you the answer of a yes or no, but I will say that if you're interested in this person and you want to know if they've moved on, or I guess like if you have a chance with them, you're going to have to somehow let them know that you don't care about this pride that they're holding on to. And I don't exactly know how you would do that, but I can ask and say, like, let's say you wanted to be with this person, what's some advice from spirit? So I'm just going to take one card here. And this is the 5, sorry if you can barely see this. This is the 5 of cups, which is like, it's a little bit of a loss, right? I mean, this could be spirit saying, accept the loss. This could be spirit saying, telling you to move on. This might be her message to you saying you should just move on and you should actually embrace your power and live your life to the fullest. I'm going to take this for how I'm reading it, and that is what I get. And I might stop here because, this person's a head case. It doesn't mean you don't belong together. It doesn't mean they have or haven't moved on. I'm not saying anything else, like saying right now they're a lot to deal with. So however you would approach dealing with them it's a different topic. It's a different situation. I got the message from spirit that you should actually take this loss and move on. You should chalk this up to a very sad situation, because it is, and just move on and live your life to the fullest and embrace your power. If that doesn't sit well with you, if that's not what you're going to do, we can get 2 more cards here. But this to me is a message that, and I don't know if this person just is so, there's like I said, I'm going to go back to it. I get 2 different reads off this person, and neither one of them is really very good. So I don't know if they're it could be anything from being, I don't know, bipolar, or they might have something maybe slightly narcissistic, or something in a personality that makes them actually very difficult to know or to ever put your finger on. Anyway, but let's say you don't want to do this. Let's say you're going to pursue this person. I'm just going to get 2 more cards from spirit about just, I don't know, something to keep in mind, or how this would look if you, well, those are 2 totally different things. Let's ask spirit how you should move forward if you, advice moving forward if you want to be with this person. So we've got strength and the devil. So I don't really, let me think about this actually. I would say if you really do want to pursue something with this person, I don't know. The devil card, it's a weird card when it comes up in a situation like this where I can't really get a good read on this person and I don't love them. So this is almost to me a little bit of a warning. Like, this person's difficult. There's more to them. I think this person is capable of deception. I think they're capable of lies. I think they could have aspects of their personality or character that truly are dark. How dark, I don't know. There's such a huge scale there, right? But there's something about them that makes me think, like, just be careful with this one. And you'll need strength, and strength in the fact that, like, don't lose yourself to this little mission you're going to be on. Strength to, like, really just very much stay strong and just keep your self-control, and just know when is when, right? So not my favorite ending to this, because it doesn't give me like a clear answer either way. And I don't really need to repeat it because it's not like this amazing message that I want to drill into you. But I will say that I would need to do more on this person to figure out if it would even be worth it for you to pursue them. And I don't know, I just get the message from Spirit that really moving on from them is the best outcome. But I know, anyway, please leave please message me, or leave a message, a comment, goodness, and like, subscribe, whatever. I would love to hear your feedback, good, bad, otherwise. I'm here for it. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope you come back for another reading. Thank you. Goodbye. Light and Bone Tarot, thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. We are doing a reading for Are They Moving On? And I'm going to start doing one weekly reading for, like, the brokenhearted. So if your heart's broken, or if it hurts, or you've been through something, then once a week I'll specialize on this. So this is why you're here. You probably are thinking about someone and you want to know if they've moved on. Love, Shungite. Beautiful, beautiful rock, stone, crystal. Not sure, but I love it. Okay, so let me find out who this person is that you're thinking about and that you want to know if they've moved on. I just want to get a picture of them, kind of like a snapshot. Who are they? Okay, 9 of Cups, the Chariot. I really like them, okay? I like them more than any of the other people that have come out on this first line. Oh, yeah, they are... I don't know. They're just kind of like a beautiful human. I feel like there's something very, very pleasing to look at. Like, there's just something very beautiful about them, whether they have like these just, I don't know, amazing eyes or beautiful hair or something. There's something about them that is actually like very beautiful, and not in this like perfect way, although they might be, but that's not it. It's more like there's just like one feature about them that is like so enticing, but in this, I don't know. Anyway, like, they might have these just incredible kind eyes or something. I like them. I just think they're sincere. I think they're good. I think they're intentional. I think they probably have a little bit of like a spiritual edge to them. Like, they're plugged in, they're tuned in. I think there's just something just beautiful about them, and I keep getting that vibe from them. And with the Chariot, it is like, it's an energy, it's a driver, it's a force, it's someone who moves, who stops at nothing, but it's someone with this like momentum, right? This drive. And usually when I see the Chariot, it's usually a very positive card for me. It's like a yes card. It's someone who wants to be doing what they're doing. It's someone who's happy. And the happiness that I see here kind of reflects all over this person. I think they're positive. I think they're just a delight to be around. And the Four of Pentacles makes me think like they have this kind of serious side to them. They dig their heels in. They know when enough is enough. Like, they're not, like, if they are just say very beautiful, they don't flaunt it. They don't overdo it. If they have a lot of money, they don't overspend. There's just nothing like over the top about them. But they can still be exciting and flashy and lovely, but there's a balance to them. And they kind of have this little bit of conformity that they adhere to. I don't know. They just remind me of someone who's very kind of smart, studious, I want to say like raised right, but whether they were or not, they remind you of someone that really, like from a very young age, someone just treated them right, loved them to pieces. And now as a result of it, they're just this very positive, good person. So I like them very much. But we need to find out if they're moving on. I'm going to get a little bit more about them, because this helps me, but it's always weird when that comes up. Okay. So the World and the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is a heavy card. So the World can also be, this person does have deep thoughts, right? I think that they have an intensity to them that you probably, maybe a lot of people don't see it right off the bat, because I think they have this kind of like they look like they just float along. Maybe they seem like they don't have a care in the world. Maybe they look like they don't have a care in the world, and you love them for that. This isn't like someone that tries to look like they don't have a care in the world. It's someone who genuinely, like, I don't know, is just very much at ease and very confident and secure in their place and who they are, that they just seem so put together that you would think, what in the world could this person stress over? But they do have some heavy thoughts. They do have some anxieties and insecurities. Although I think they are conscientious and they are probably a very good person overall, they do worry about things, right? They do have thoughts that keep them up at night. They're not perfect. Let's put it that way. And with the World, I see the World almost has, it's not a dark card by any means, but it's this like, they're aware of things, that they're aware of cycles. They're aware that things change. They are aware that nothing is forever. They have there's this side of them that is kind of heavy, not dark, but just contemplative. They have a kind of like pensive side to them where they, again, are going to show you another part of from what they are different than what they look like. But they are good. This person, I really get a good feel from them. But they have depth. That's just it. They have depth, and they have, with that depth comes, makes them even more interesting, even more likable. So I get, if you're, I don't want to say hung up on this person because that sounds so negative, but if you're hung up on this person, if you're in love with this person, if your heart breaks for this person, I get that, because there's a lot coming off them that would make them very desirable. So I'm going to get 2 oracle cards about them, because we want to know what they're doing right now. Like, what, this is who they are, but like, where are they actually? What are they doing? Imagine solutions. And do something different. So this could tell me, I'm trying to figure out like what this means as far as if they're moving on in regards to that. I'm going to assume you guys aren't together right now and that you'd probably want to be. This person, I do think quite frankly, they're doing something different. Maybe when you guys ended things, there was a talk. I don't think you had a blowout with this person. I don't think that's their vibe. I think they talk things through. I think they're calm, cool, and collected. But I think you were able to discuss things that maybe you wanted more from them in certain ways. I could see them as this like butterfly that just, socially, in a way, I could see them as a social butterfly, but I could also see them as everyone wants something from them, and maybe they get spread very thin. But I think whatever this you guys talked about, I do think they're consciously trying to work on a few things right now and do things differently. Whether or not they can, like whether they have the bandwidth to, or if it even fits within their lifestyle to do or give you what you want, I'm not sure, but I think they're thinking about it. I do think they're trying to come up with ways that things could be like altered. And they remind me of someone who knows that, like I said, everything changes, nothing's forever. They know that whatever situation they're in, whatever life they're living right now, it's not always going to be like this. So I think they are someone who's open to doing things differently if it like behooves everyone involved. I think they're people. This is a people person, a people pleaser. They want to see you happy. They want you to like them. I think it's also important to them that they are indeed liked, because they're probably pretty accustomed to being liked. And I just, yeah, I get, but all this is such a good, sweet vibe. But as far as if they've moved on, I would say because they're consciously thinking of ways that they can almost like please you, then I would say no, they haven't. They haven't totally moved on. This reminds me of someone that could move on. I think they have the ability to move on because I see the Chariot and they have that momentum, right? Like there's a swiftness to them. If they have to move on, they will. They won't love it, but they can see how there are other things in this world that will make them happy, right? Like they aren't stuck on you in the sense that you are the one thing they loved. They have a lot of beautiful things happening in their world that they can choose to focus on if they needed to. But I do think you guys had something pretty great if you're here and these are all the cards that have come up. So I actually want to know a little bit about what you guys had. So we've got Ace of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Five of Wands. So you guys definitely had some conflict. You guys absolutely had a struggle. So I'm not getting that you guys had this like over the top, crazy, passionate thing happening. I could see that maybe I'm going to say maybe you liked them a little bit more than they were able to like you back. Maybe you had more time to invest in them. I do think that you wanted more from them than they were ready to give. However, like I said, I think they're thinking about what you wanted now. I think they're thinking about giving you the things you wanted. So that is hopeful. But I do think your dynamic was a little bit stressed. Okay. I think you guys had some conflicts, probably unresolved. I think there was a bit of like this uphill battle where you guys, this is a card of like resilience, but it implies that there's been a little bit of like, there's been a lot of action, right? There's been a lot of, and in this case, it could be like fights or deep conversations or trying to work things through and like not really resolving things. But I think you've put a lot of effort as a couple into changing things. But I get the impression that there's only so much they can change. They are doing whatever it is they're doing with their life right now, that there isn't a whole lot of room for change. And I think they know this and they stay true to this. But however, they also, to that point, they do know that nothing is forever. They're not thinking that they're always going to be in this one situation, looking and feeling the way they do. They know that like things will naturally kind of evolve. But right now, I don't know that they can adhere to everything you want, but they are working on it. And this can even give me the vibe of someone who kind of likes you and appreciates you and even loves you more than they did when you were together. It's meaning that if you guys got back together, things would be even better because they appreciate you more now. They've come to kind of maybe realize like that what you asked from them wasn't such a big ask after all, that it was reasonable and logical and something they'd probably have to work on anyway or incorporate into their life anyway. But at the time, maybe it just felt like a lot for them and they fought it a little bit. But now I think they see that you brought up some pretty good ideas, some good points, and that, I don't know, I think they're drawn to you more now than ever. Let's put it that way. So as far as, do I think they've moved on? I would say they haven't moved on from you. No, I don't think they have. I think they're thinking how this can work. And if anything, they're taking action towards trying to make it work, whether you know about this right now or not, or however long it takes them to actually communicate this to you, I don't know. But I do get a very positive sense that they are thinking of ways that you guys can work things out or that they can kind of please you. And I mean, that's like overly positive. I mean, who knows if that's really the case, but in a kind of like extreme ultimate, that's the energy I'm getting from this person. And this person, to me, they do seem like someone who, like, they have the resources and the faculty to give you everything you want. It's there. This could work. You know, it could work. It would take a little bit from them, but it wouldn't be impossible. You didn't give them this impossible ask. Like, you didn't give them an ultimatum, let's say. I think you just said, this is what I need, but you weren't like, if you do this, I can't be with you. If you continue this, I can't be with you. I think it was just more of like, this gentle nudging of, hey, I really want this from you. I really need this from you. I'd really like this. So I think they're thinking about these things, and yeah, I like this person. I can kind of like see, what they look like in my head, what they look like, what my equivalent person of this would look like. And there is this just kind of like softness to them, this kind of like gentle spirit thing. And I think they're kind of soft spoken. I think they're sweet. I think they're a great listener. I think they have like this radiance kind of, and this chillness. Okay, let's get a little bit more, as far as like, if they're moving on. I'm going to get one card for it, and I'm going to see, well, let me see. Okay. So live life to the fullest. I do think they like to live life to the fullest. Okay. They are someone who can and does enjoy the greater things in this world, or at least the things that they want. Whatever they want, they go after and they pursue. I get the feeling they have the resources for some reason. I'm not saying that they have a yacht because they want a yacht, but let's say whatever they want, they have. So, and that's relative to every, individual person that this could be held to. So it's a relative thing, but whatever they want, they have the resources for. And I do think living life to the fullest, living their best life really is important to them. They're not going to sacrifice that. They're never not going to be their best self or live their best life. And in that way, they are a little bit selfish, but they do that because that's how they stay happy. That's how they stay they hold on to this gratitude that keeps them being this kind of like very positive light person, because they do always put, the kind of like their needs first, but in a very like gentle way. But I always go back to this world card for them because they are aware. They have this awareness that I just say nothing is forever, that they know that they're just open to change. They're very receptive to change. And even if in the moment your relationship ended and you said you wanted things and they couldn't give it to you then, I really think they took heed, and they are indeed contemplating these things and really thinking on them in a good way, which would tell me no, they have not moved on. So let's ask directly, have they moved on? So we've got Daughter of Wands and Six of Wands. Goodness, why is it so hard for me? So, excuse me. I wouldn't say they have or haven't moved on. I'm not getting that from this. I'm just getting that they are, I think they're recognizing you, right? I think they are seeing you differently. Okay. I think they're giving you like your moment of respect, that maybe, or acknowledgement, because I think they've always respected you. I think they respect everyone. But I think that there's this recognition that I actually think you're going to have a moment where you're going to get to know that they do recognize what you said, and they hear you, and they kind of see you, and they like feel you. So I think you're going to get a pretty like validating moment with them, where things are going to kind of feel very like everything kind of comes together. There's like this full circle. Yeah, and I'm trying to think where the Daughter of Wands, I have this thought of what I think it means, and I'm just like how it would correspond with this, but almost like there's this enthusiasm in this change, right? Like they are almost excited to let you know, hey, I'm like what you said, I've been working on it. I really think you might have this moment with them, and they will communicate this with you. And I wish I knew when or how this moment's going to come about, but however it comes about, if it's meant to be, it will be. So I don't think it even matters how it comes about. It's just you're going to live your life and it will come about. But I really do feel that this is in the cards for you. So this would tell me that no, they really haven't moved on. They're moving forward. They're always moving forward. They're always charging forward. They're always building a better life for themselves constantly. But that is a lovely thing to be a part of. And I really do think that they are you're going to be validated here. And I think it's going to be a really, really beautiful thing. And I'm going to stop the reading there because I feel so strongly that this is like just positive and good. Yeah, and I like it. And I sometimes I stop readings a little early because I don't want to just keep repeating myself. And I don't want to pull cards that like are going to complicate the message, because I think this is a very solid message. And I think this person is truly enthusiastic to recognize you, which is just a really beautiful thing. They're beautiful. I think that you attracted them because you're a beautiful and lovely person. I think you have this real like kind way of interacting. I think there's this like gentleness and just real like mutual respect between you two. That's what I'm getting. And even if you guys have had conflicts and arguments and all that, that's fine. But you both take everything, like you take it seriously. You really like, if someone, it's like almost everything's kind of this constructive criticism. And I think there's a very positive energy between you two. And I love that. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm going to end it here, but if you have any comments, please leave them, like, subscribe, whatever. I'm just really need that from people at this point. So if you could do that, great. If you made it all the way to the end, oh my goodness, thank you so much. But yeah, thank you. And please come back for another reading soon. Excuse me. Goodbye.